We shall begin our journey with theories of learning. The definition of learning has several components. Learning involves change, good or bad. The change must be relatively permanent. Learning should result in change in behavior. Some experience, direct through observation or practice, or indirect as through reading, is required. There are three important theories of learning: classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and social learning. Classical conditioning grew out of Russian psychologist Ivan Pavlov's experiments to teach his dog to salivate in response to the ringing of a bell. When Pavlov gave the dog meat, the dog salivated. When Pavlov rang a bell before giving the meat, the dog linked the bell with the meat. After some time, when Pavlov rang the bell, even when he offered no meat, the dog salivated. In this experiment, the meat is the unconditioned stimulus. Salivating is the unconditioned response. The bell is the conditioned stimulus. Salivating is the conditioned response. Classical conditioning depends on an action or stimulus for a reaction or response to take place. In organizations, employees have to be self-starters. Organizations cannot depend on a system that needs a management action to get an employee response every time. In an organization, shaping behavior requires a more active tool. People have to learn to act voluntarily in a certain way, like coming on time and following rules. This is operant conditioning. What Ivan Pavlov did for classical conditioning, Harvard psychologist B.F. Skinner did for operant conditioning. Operant conditioning argues that behavior is a function of its consequences. Behavior will be repeated if it is reinforced. To shape behavior, operant conditioning uses four tools: positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, punishment, and extinction. Positive reinforcement is following a behavior with something positive, like praise or reward. Negative reinforcement is following a behavior with the withdrawal of an unpleasant consequence. If you show up at the appointed time, you don't have to wait. Punishment is following a behavior with a punishment. If you break a rule, you pay a fine. Extinction is eliminating any reinforcement that maintains behavior. For example, no response to request for relaxation of rules eliminates such requests. Reinforcement, positive or negative, has an impressive record of success compared to punishment or extinction. Social learning is learning by observing others, by being told, or by direct experience. It is an extension of operant conditioning. It also acknowledges the existence of observational learning and the importance of perception in learning. The important processes in social learning are attentional processes, retentional processes, model reproduction processes, and reinforcement processes. Attentional process. People learn by recognizing and paying attention to critical features. We are influenced by models that are attractive, repeatedly available, important to us, or similar to us. Example, people emulate movie and sports stars. Retention process. If the model is remembered, actions are emulated even when the model is no longer available. Model reproduction process. It is acquiring the ability to reproduce the actions of the model. Reinforcement process. Individuals will reproduce the model's behavior if positive incentives or rewards are provided. Research on the impact of reinforcement concluded that some type of reinforcement is necessary to produce a change in behavior. Some types of rewards are more effective than others for use in an organization. The speed with which learning takes place and the permanence of its effects will be determined by the timing of reinforcement. Schedules of reinforcement. There are two schedules of reinforcement: continuous reinforcement and intermittent reinforcement. Continuous reinforcement. Every time a desirable behavior occurs, positive reinforcement, such as praise, is given. Intermittent reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is given, but not each time the behavior occurs. Research shows that continuous reinforcement becomes ineffective after some time. It comes to be expected and therefore taken for granted. Intermittent reinforcement is relatively unpredictable, is appreciated better, and hence effective for a longer time. Intermittent reinforcement can be of four types: fixed interval type, variable interval type, fixed ratio type, and variable ratio type. Fixed interval type. Example, salary. It is given every month. Variable interval type. Example, a celebration. It happens when the team performs well. Fixed ratio type. Example, a piece rate scheme. It is given when a piece is delivered, representing a fixed number of hours of work. Variable ratio type. Example, sales incentive scheme. It is not given for actions like a sales call, but for results like closing a sale, which may require different number of calls for each sale.